I decided to come to y'all real quick. I ain't gonna be on here long. Do a Q&A with y'all. See what's on y'all minds. Say what's up to Miles Davis. Say what's up to Frankie Beverly. Maybe I'm with a Dizzy Gillespie picture upstairs. What's up, AW1? What's up, Mogul Mays? Sherelle Bryant? What y'all doing up this late? Y'all some night owls. Y'all up at the devil's hour. Sherelle Bryant, what you doing up at the devil's hour? What's up, Sinister? What y'all doing up? Ain't nothing going on this late. I say you'll be visiting LA? That's what's up. It ain't gonna be raining like it was last week, so you picked the right week to come. I love music. Any kind of music. He said, "You night owl." Where y'all from in the chat? Like, where y'all at? What time zone y'all in? What city y'all in? What's up, Brooke? Brooklyn in the house. See, Brooke is cool. I be talking all kind of shit about Mogul Mays and Brooke. Both of y'all in New York, I be talking all kind of shit. Because y'all know I don't mean anything. It ain't poisonal. I appreciate y'all because y'all know it's not poisonal. It's about getting the collective of us on code. Yeah. You listen to playback of Pete Rock. The Pete Rock. I didn't talk about the Pete Rock thing, man. The thing about it is, what's up, FBA Hustle? I like Pete Rock's music. I like the way Pete Rock mixes samples. You know what I mean? He does a great job of how he puts together samples. You know. I say you in Miami. I love Miami, man. I ain't been to Miami since 2012 or 13, man. But I love Miami. I got to get back down there. Miami is a very important part of my early 20s, my mid-20s, I should say. My early to mid-20s, really all of my 20s. I spent a lot of time in Miami. On Ocean, Collins, and Washington. I'm not going to sit there and act like I went all throughout Miami. Hell no, I took my ass right down to South Beach. Brooke at the house. I hope Brooke don't mind me saying this, but I ain't never been I usually don't even attempt to guess ages. I swear to God, I thought Brooke was like 24 years old. I was all. I was, I just, I swear I thought Brooke was like 23 years old. I swear to God. You said people that said Michael Jackson's biracial. I saw Black Alpha had a title about people saying Michael Jackson isn't black, but I haven't seen his video yet. What's going on with that? Yeah, Brooke look like she on her first job. Like, yeah, you'll get promoted to cashier one day. And Brooke like, I own this motherfucker. I'm like, goddamn. Oh, you said that Fabio impersonator? Somebody said Michael Jackson's Hispanic. That is funny as hell. You can look at Michael Jackson's childhood pictures and say he just straight up black. Michael Jackson's Stevie Wonder's cousin. Hell, all you gotta do is look at Michael Jackson's talent and you can tell that he ain't mixed with nothing but Negro, nigga, nigger, black. Probably some native up in that motherfucker. So somebody really said somebody really said Michael Jackson wasn't black. The level of sickness in these people. And the crazy part about it is when people say stuff like that, you know what that is when people deny your blackness? That shows you how deep rooted the issues people have with black people. If you notice that, let's talk. I'm glad. So y'all just gave me a topic for tonight because I didn't have a topic. Let's break this topic down, Brooke. Ty Eagles and everybody else that's in here. Let's break this down. Y'all ever notice, and this is something that I remember hearing in college. It was more so in college. Like, I don't really be around those like that anymore. But when I was in college, it was very common to hear non-black people say, especially white folks say, well, he's not really black. They're not really black. Like my homeboy Reggie, he used to be around. We used to party at UCLA. He went to Vanguard University in Orange County, and I went to Cal State Northridge. But we always met up and partied Thursday, Friday night. We'd party at UCLA in our college years. And my boy Reggie had a girlfriend that went to UCLA. She stayed in a sorority house, and we was always around at the sorority house. I don't know how my boy Reggie, his black ass lived in a sorority house at UCLA on Hillguard. You know, ain't no black sorority houses at UCLA on Hillguard. And somehow my boy Reggie found a way to live a whole semester in a white sorority house because his white girlfriend. The niggas, I don't know how the fuck that nigga got away with that. It's just funny as fuck. But anyway, we be over there hanging out. And they be like, yeah, they're black, but they're not really black. They're not really black. You know, you're black, but like, yeah, you look, but you're not really black. And you say you're Merced, that's what's up. I drove through Merced last month. But it's like when people like a black person, they have to other their blackness. And what that does is that's a way for people to cope with liking a group of people or a person that they're not supposed to like because of the group they're associated with. That's how deep this racism, white supremacy thing goes. When they like you, they have to take away your blackness. Yeah, like hip hop and rock and roll, right? They gotta other it. Well, hip hop is for all people. No, just what's wrong is in the 80s and the 90s, you know me, I'm more of an R&B guy, but I had to deal with teachers that graded me harshly because I dressed like I was from the hip hop. I dressed like I listened to that rap music. And so if I didn't have a mom that came down to my school in middle school and high school to tell my teachers that, hey, Dwann's a student that's here to learn. He's not here for the rest of that shit. Don't mind how he dressed. This nigga's here to learn. And my mom had to do that to all of my teachers. all through school, because if they didn't, they assumed the worst, and it would be a harder road ahead. That's something that black men we don't really talk about, because we don't really complain about our plight the way others do. And and I was a boy back then. I wasn't even a grown man. I was a boy. Why, as a boy who's coming to class, I was on time. I was never late to class. Do y'all know that my first time ever missing a homework assignment was in the 11th grade? It was like, I was like second semester, 11th grade. That was the first time I'd say, you know what, I'm not gonna do this homework. I never missed a homework assignment. I made all my tests. I only dished a class one time in my life. I dished one class, and that's because I played in the band, and we had a horrible halftime performance when I was in the band. Not halftime, but lunchtime. We had the lunchtime rally, and I was in the band, and we sucked. And I did not want to go to my fifth period class as bad as we sounded. That was the only time I ever fucking dished a class. But I had to deal with the stigma of being a black male. And that makes it very, very, very hard. But you learn at a young age to deal. You learn at a very young age how to deal. And you losers in the chat, let me put this on subscribers. You couldn't walk 20 minutes. Y'all got 20 minutes where you gotta be a subscriber for 20 minutes to talk. Just the same way you motherfuckers couldn't live 20 minutes in my shoes. Yeah, we used to get harassed for wearing black clothes. I went to Westchester. I couldn't dress like a goober. I already got talked about. It was like either you dress like a goober and get talked about and clowned, or you dress within how was fashionably reasonable for your school, and the teachers harass you. That's what it's like being a grown up, being a black boy. You either dress in the trend and fit in with your peers, but you get judged and harassed and scolded and by teachers. We had to pay that price as young black men growing up. Now that people like hip hop, everyone is finally admitting they like hip hop. Now hip hop is for all. Fuck you. No, it's not. Now you can participate. You can have a good time. But look at that level of hate. Oh, they have to other our culture. Oh yeah, no, it's not just for black people. No, you only say that because you like it. You wasn't saying that before everybody liked it. No, you weren't. What I want black folks to understand is that's a reflection, that's a sign of how people view themselves, and that's a reflection and that's a sign of how they view you. These people don't fuck with you. And they have to say stuff like that. Anytime you hear somebody say, oh, you're not, oh yeah, they're not really black. They don't fuck with black people. You're just an amazing person. Kudos to you for being an amazing person. But these people don't respect you who think like that. Brooke timing these motherfuckers out. That's right. But same thing, going back to us, we were talking about P Rock earlier on an earlier show. P Rock, as I said, I have nothing but reverence for him. But I don't want to, I don't want no smoke from P Rock. He's done too much. I have too much respect for him. I don't want any smoke. And I appreciate that last interview that he did where he talked about his inspirations. I appreciate that because that's what we're talking about. That we're talking. That's what we want. That's what we want. Tell the truth about where you got the game from. But when you other our creations into something that's for you, that's a major disrespect of our culture. That's a major disrespect of our race. Cause like y'all notice, it's always not about race when we win. You ever notice that shit? It's always about race when it comes to hiring practices. It's about race when it comes to what neighborhoods you want to live in. It's about race when it comes to everything else. But when it comes to the things that we create, now it's not about race. It's bigger than race. I remember back when I used to watch football a lot. Coach Tony Dungy. I don't even know where he's at now. I haven't seen this on camera. But Coach Tony Dungy, he was a coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then he was a coach of the Indianapolis Colts. And I remember he was a really good coach. He was a really good X's and O's coach with those Colts, especially. Everywhere he went, he won. And I remember he had a huge tree. He had a huge lineage of coaches that coached under him that went on to become great coaches themselves, Raheem Morris and all those guys. And I noticed, we talking like 2005, 6. I noticed that every time they would talk about Belichick, he was a genius. Every time they talked about Tony Dungy, oh, he's just such a good guy. He's a great, now they would compliment him. He's such a great man. You know, he's bigger than football. He's just, and they talk about all this stuff about how Tony Dungy's and he look at his coaching tree. He's a good man. But he would never get credit for being a genius coach. And he was a genius coach. That Tampa 2 defense that they ran, man, Tony Dungy was a genius coach. But he never got credit for being a genius coach. It was, oh no, such a good guy. He's a community leader. Give him every compliment but his fucking job. You're right, Peyton took all the credit. Oh, Peyton Manning's great, but Tony Dungy's just a good man. It's a game, y'all. It's a hustle. And like right now, like basketball. Pay attention to basketball. They're down to less than 50% of the players are from America. No, Tony Dungy, do we mean Tony Dungy chose that lane? Tony Dungy didn't choose how the announcers talked about him. Being a good person. This nigga said he was Christian and he chose that lane. Like, no. Being a good person is separate from your job. You could be a good person and still great at your job. Tony Dungy wasn't a coach because he was a good person. He coached so long because he was a genius. You know how many good people suck at coaching football? He chose that lane. No, the announcers chose how to frame him. He didn't go to the announcers and say, "Hey, you know, I'm not a don't. I know I'm a great coach, but don't say I'm not a don't call me a good coach. No. Just say I'm a good man." Make sense to you? I didn't think so. Now, but that's the game. We can never be geniuses. That goes back to the hip hop situation talk we were talking about earlier. about how now that everybody loves hip hop is for everybody. Hip hop is all of a sudden genius now. What? Hip hop wasn't genius 15 years ago. It was still jungle music. What's up, Brandy? What's up, DSM? But y'all notice what they never want to give us credit for being geniuses. I remember there was an interview where Serena Williams talked about that. You know, if they do talk about your prowess, it's going to be something physical, never how smart you are. So, Shadowfly, I remember Serena Williams talked about that. Like, this back when Serena was winning all of those Grand Slams. This is like in the middle of her Grand Slam run, like 2005, 6, when she just was tearing everything up. She talked about how when the announcers talk about her, they talk about how powerful she is. Oh, she just overpowers and she's powerful. And Serena's like, they never give me credit for the angles and the mental game that I play, how I mentally destroy opponents and how I use geometry and angles in my brain to set people up. Serena was like, I don't even hit the ball as hard as I could. My game is all about angles more than power. She's like, my final shot may be a power shot. She was like, but the 7 shots I took before that final power shot were finesse, and they were all using my mind to set people up, and I never get credit for it. Y'all remember that? Oh, man, the mirror up in this motherfucker. They would never. It's just, and that goes into why the Black American Music Family Tree Project, the historical project, the genius never gets talked about. Barry White's still not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Think about that for a second. They'll talk about when they talk about Barry White. Oh, he had a great voice, the sultry. Let's use 2 artists as examples as to them not talking about our genius. Barry White and George Clinton. Barry White created symphonies. Barry White's music was so sophisticatedly elegant, you feel like you need to put on a tuxedo to listen to Barry White. Play some Barry White right now. I feel like I need tails on my jacket to listen to him. I don't feel right listening to Barry White in sweats. Barry White created the first credited disco song. Chat room, Brandy, have you ever heard Barry White get credit for creating the chords and the melody for disco? Chat room, answer me. Have you ever heard Barry White get credit for creating the melodies and the foundation for disco? You never heard that. The only place I heard that was from that show Unsung. When they did an Unsung on Barry White, they talked about it. But that's us. That's us. That's not them. That's black folks. They have never given credit to Barry White for disco. Have you ever heard? Okay, Barry White's dead. Okay, he died 20 years ago. Both Gamble and Huff are still alive. They're the other half of the creators of disco. Have you ever heard Philadelphia get its credit for disco? It's like when and he's from Barry White's from LA. See, LA don't really get its credit. Barry White's from LA, so you don't want to give LA credit for nothing. That's fine. And Philadelphia don't get credit a lot. They always want to pin black greatness to the South in New York. And when we have greatness all across this fucking country. You never heard of the drummer Earl Young creating the Four on the Floor beat? That's the bed for disco and house music. And Earl Young is still alive in his 70s. Yeah, they mention Donna Summer, but they don't mention the black folks that created it. There's an overall agreement amongst non-blacks and aristocracy blacks, your legacy blacks, your boule blacks. There's like an I've never read the paper, but it's like there's almost like some unwritten agreement between non-blacks and old and boule blacks to really avoid the conversation around the genius and the how plentiful the genius is. If they do, they'll say, okay, Michael Jackson was a genius, Quincy Jones was a genius, but the rest of you niggas, yeah, go look the other way. George Clinton, when they talk about George Clinton, they'll say, okay, he created legendary great funk music. Have you ever heard George Clinton get credit for the spirituality and the ministry of his music, the science in his music? Have you ever heard that? Have you ever heard George Clinton's spiritual foundation in his music highlighted? I want to see what y'all say, chat room. Have y'all ever heard people talk about George Clinton's spirituality in his music? I'm gonna see what y'all say. And the reason why I asked that is because the writings on George Clinton in 71, 72, 73, early George Clinton, that's basically what before George Clinton went to funk, before when they were funkadelic, they were known as a preachy hippie band that just preached messages. You're right, they mention his drugs, but they don't mention the fact that Harvard University is the one that got them stuck on drugs. Do y'all know that George Clinton first took acid at Harvard University as part of a government study? But yeah, go back. See, Parliament has especially Funkadelic. They have a whole catalog of spiritual music. Go listen to a song called "Free Your Mind and Your Ass Will Follow." You're as free as you want to be. That's an album. They have a whole album called "Free Your Mind and Your Ass Will Follow." Um, America Eats His Young. All that shit, spiritual music. Um, there's a song by Funkadelic called "Good Thoughts, Bad Thoughts." It's literally a 13-minute song of him giving basically a Bobby Hemmett level lecture. That song, "Good Thoughts, Bad Thoughts." Hey, Charo, I know y'all familiar with Bobby Hemmett and Delbert Blair and Dr. Phil Valentine and the Metaphysicists. Go listen to the song "Good Thoughts, Bad Thoughts," which was Screw music 20 years before DJ Screw, by the way. It's very Screw, but it's before Screw. But the song "Good Thoughts, Bad Thoughts" is a Bobby Hemmett lecture. It's not something you dance to. It's something you sit back and you get quiet and you meditate to, and you let the words pour in. The giant sequoia tree sleeps in its egg. God waits for his unfoldment in man. You reach as high as your dominant aspiration, you descend to the lowest concept of yourself. Dig it. These are the lyrics of that song. Flashlight. That's about the lights and metaphysics. That's like light. Blue is the color of protection. Gold is the color of healing. Blue is also talking. Red light. Those are chakras. That's a chakra song. He hit a lot. Like when they got into the Department years, late 70s, they hid a lot of the spiritual stuff in the dance and music. But it was always a deep spiritual message. He never gets the credit for that. But they'll talk about his drug use. Do they give George Clinton the credit for heavy metal, rock and roll, and being an influence on that with Eddie Hazel on guitar? Do they give George Clinton credit for? Do they even tell you who Bernie Worrell is? They don't even talk to you about Bernie Worrell. He was a keyboard player with Funkadelic who was classically trained. Bernie, go listen to Akko Boogie. Bernie found a way to incorporate classical with funk. Bernie was very classical. He had jazzy stuff too, but Bernie was a classical pianist. And all of those sounds, Bernie Worrell was the first, even before Stevie Wonder, to use a foot pedal to augment his keyboard. He did it before Stevie. Most people don't even know who the fuck Bernie Worrell is. They do not talk about our genius. And that's fine. We got to be the ones that do it. But we not going to do it as long as niggas come to you saying, so who's your top 5? I swear to God, if I hear that question one more time. You trying to talk some music with some folks, and here comes somebody. So who your top 5 rappers? Who your top 5 producers? Who your top 5 singers? Shut up. My top 5. Your sister, your auntie, your mama, your girlfriend, and your ex-girlfriend. That's my top 5. Because at the end of the day, does it matter what my top 5 is? Think about the top 5 question. Here are the 2 things the top 5 question does. It has to in order for this conversation to happen. 1, you X out a lot of you X out so many great people that you like. I ain't even talking about geniuses you don't like, but the geniuses you do like. You listen to more than 5 artists. So off top, you got to X out somebody you like. Think about that for a second. The moment you engage in a top 5 conversation, you're Xing out somebody you like. Multiple people you like. Not just one person or group. A lot. Matter of fact, you're Xing out most artists that you like. Think about that for a second. You're just already just shitting on most artists you listen to. Most, not some. Because you listen to more than 5 people. That's the first thing a top 5 does. The second thing it does is groundwork for an argument. Now you're not going to have a discussion on what makes this person great, you can do that, but as we all know, 99.9% of top 5 arguments go from I like this guy because of ABC to your guy ain't shit because of D, G, and F. Is that not how most top 5 conversations turn out? Am I capping? Chat, am I capping? Do most top 5 conversations turn right into your guy don't belong in the top 5 because of A, B, and C? And most of the time, people are crying about your guy not belonging there. Usually, that's coming from somebody who listens to that person too. No, man, you can't put Nas at number 2. You can't put Nas at number 2 because Eminem did. But nigga, you listen to Nas and you listen to a lot of lies. But you're arguing that somebody put him at 2 instead of 1, or at 5, at 3 instead of 5. Am I capping, chat? So one, you don't. When the first part of the top 5 argument is you're Xing out people you like. The second part is you're dissing people you like because somebody else has them ranked in a position you don't think they belong in. It marginalizes artists. It reduces the art. How in the hell can we talk about all these greats if the only thing you're talking about is the top 5? Because if we don't reference our greats, you know what's going to happen? They're going to shit on them and marginalize them. And because that's what they do. That's their culture. Their culture is to shit on whatever we love. That's their culture. And that's fine. They're not going to change. They can change if they want. Them changing is not my concern. That's not my concern. Black people being stupid is my concern. And that's a stupid ass conversation. Top 5. It never ends. It's never going to end. That conversation is never going to end. It's never going to end. Top 5 basketball players. Now, I'll engage in a top 5 position by position, era by era. Top 5 players of the 90s. Top 5 players of the 2000s. Top 5 combo guards. Top 5 point forwards. But honestly, if I engage in that, it's only going to be, I give myself like 10 minutes. If I say, okay, I'm going to get into a discussion over my favorite players or why I personally put Kobe ahead of Jordan, I give myself 10 minutes to have that conversation because I'm already knowing most people aren't going to agree with me. But I also know that most people didn't watch 90% of Kobe's games the way I did. And probably 60% of Jordan's games the way I did. I saw both of them. I love them both. But in order to have that conversation between Kobe and Jordan, I got to highlight something Jordan didn't do well. And that's stupid because Jordan kept winning. Like, so what? Jordan didn't have Kobe's handles, but shit, Jordan kept winning. So it doesn't fucking matter he didn't have Kobe's handles. He won, Kobe won. I enjoyed watching both. Now, I hated Jordan. I didn't like Jordan. And my brother was we used to watch WGN, and I wanted to watch Inspector Gadget on cartoons and on Nickelodeon. We only had one TV with cable, and the Bulls games would always be on the same time as Inspector Gadget on Nickelodeon. And so when I was like 9 years old, 10 years old, I wanted to see Inspector Gadget go Nickelodeon. But my brother wanted to watch the Bulls. And he's my big brother. What was I gonna do? I couldn't beat him up. I was I was 9 and he was 14. I couldn't do nothing about it. So my brother, anytime the Bulls wasn't on, I could watch Inspector Gadget. Go, Gadget, go. So I had to sit back, and then my sister, she wanted to watch Video Soul. And so my parents had to work it out to where I got the TV one day, my sister got it the next day, my brother got it the next. So on my day, we was watching Inspector Gadget. On my sister's day, we was watching Video Soul. On my brother's day, we was watching the Bulls, if they were on. So I saw a lot of Bulls games growing up. Randy, you remember Continental Cablevision back on Crenshaw and 27th? That was back in the Continental Cablevision days. So I saw a lot of Bulls games. They was always on WGN. And then when Inspector Gadget would go off, I would turn to the Bulls too. You said your mom worked for them? Yeah, see? And I saw Kobe's whole career. And I saw mostly LeBron's and Kevin Durant's career. Been having NBA League Pass since 2005. So I saw all their careers. Oh, he said, you remember watching Inspector Gadget too, Sherelle? Yeah. He said, you remember Caribbean Rhythms with Rachel? Yeah, that's when I turned the channel. I didn't even know who the host was. I remember seeing Caribbean Rhythms and like, oh yeah, next. Cause the minute I hear turn the channel. Don't like that sound. I'm just playing. But I don't like that sound. I'm serious, but hit that like button. Yeah, if you had WGN, you saw Michael Jordan. What's up, Felix Speaks? But I'm going back into back to the top 5 thing. He said, "Don't have to Inspector Gadget's top 5." See, top 5 arguments outside of music and sports can be pretty fun. Like, what's your 5 favorite cartoons when you was a kid? Those are gonna be fun because usually, if we say, okay, my 5 favorite cartoons, I'm gonna give y'all my 5 favorite cartoons, and some of y'all gonna respond with, "Damn, I forgot about that one." It's usually more of a fun conversation. My 5 favorite cartoons was Heathcliff's my all-time number one. When like for a few years ago, Stars had Heathcliff on, and I recorded everything. My favorite cartoons was Bugs Bunny, Heathcliff, Thundercats, then I'm probably going to go Scooby-Doo, and then probably after school. This is a hard one. Am I going to go Smurfs? I'm probably going to go I'm gonna go Heathcliff number 1, Looney Tunes, Popeye. Yeah, Popeye. I love watching him whoop ass. You know, Thundercats and Scooby-Doo probably. I hated Ren and Stimpy. Ren and Stimpy came out right as I was getting at the age where cartoons wasn't. I was still watching cartoons, but I was just getting. Oh no, my bad. See, Brooke, Muppet Babies. Muppet Babies is my number 1. You see how that goes when we do top 5s? How the fuck did I forget Muppet Babies? That would be Muppet Babies and Heathcliff would be tied for my number one. Go bye-bye. Yeah. I had to watch Muppet Babies all the way to the end. And like I had to literally wait to the commercial, then they do the intro, and then Animal go bye-bye. Yeah. I had to watch all the way through that. When your room gets kinda weird and you wish that you weren't there. But Heathcliff was my favorite because I was like Heathcliff when I was like 5 or 6. I stayed like when I was with my grandma. My grandma was on 58th and Broadway, and that's where all my friends were. It was on 58th Street and Broadway, in between Broadway and Main. And so I used to wake up in the morning, go down the street to find other kids to fuck with. I wasn't like a physical bully, although all boys fight when you like 5 or 6 years old. But I was like a Heathcliff, but when it came to talking about my friends, I would be up at 6, 7 years old, walking down the street. The minute I see my homeboy Jack, hey, what's up, Jack? Hey man, that shirt ugly. And I started talking about his shirt. Like I was like Heathcliff when I was a kid. I would just get out and clown people all up and down my block. I would just talk about you. So Heathcliff was my favorite. Heathcliff used to go up and down the street beating people up. I didn't beat you up. I would if I had to because I did talk a lot of shit, so I had to get in fights. Oh yeah, Beavis and Butthead was my shit. I ain't like Doug, but I like Beavis and Butthead. Oh yeah, and Garfield too. See how like certain top 5 conversations, like your favorite cartoons, they're gonna bring back memories. You're gonna talk shit. It's gonna be lighthearted. It's gonna be fun. When it comes to a top 5 rapper, oh no, he ain't no top 5. How you gonna put Snoop Dogg in the top 5? He was cooning. Like, okay, yeah, he was cooning, but shit, still like his music. That's my top 5, nigga. And my top 5 is gonna be probably the last 5 rappers I listen to. Some days DJ Quick is gonna be in it. Some days Common's gonna be in that top 5. Some days I don't know the fuck, nigga. You know how many goddamn rappers I like? Top 5. Top 5 these nuts, nigga. I ain't got time for that shit. Hell, you listen to 5 rap songs, half of them got features on them. You just heard 8 rappers you like in 5 songs. Think about that. Hell yeah, music lives inside of you. You remember the melody? I was the other day just recalling an old gospel song. When I went to church, even though I played the drums in church for 20 years, I hated gospel music. I've just started. I just started. I just started. Anybody ask me a question about another grown ass man, stop it. But I just started appreciating gospel music in the last 5 years. In the last 5 to 6 years, I've just started to really appreciate it more. Because I was always around it. I hated it. Anytime I hear anytime somebody come on singing some, I'm going up, I don't want to hear that. Did not like gospel music. I still to this day hate that. Never would have made it. I hate that song. I never would have made it. Anytime I hear that song, I want to kick somebody in their ass. Don't stand in front of me with it. I never would have made it. Don't stand in front of me when that song come on. I'm going to kick you in your ass. Not because I have an issue with you. I'm just so goddamn mad I got to kick something. And if your ass is in front of me, I'm going to kick it. I hate that song. But the other day, hell yeah, gospel could be depressing. The chords, the melodies, the choirs, all that shit's good. But a lot of gospel lyrics are poison. But I was at home like last week, and I just started recalling old gospel songs from church when I played in church. I just started, I just started singing songs from church that I ain't heard in 30, 35 years. And I was singing them word for word. I don't even remember knowing them songs when I was in church. Like I knew the melody, I played, but I didn't pay attention to the words. Like I didn't really like gospel music. So okay, they play that song again. But just last week, I'm singing these shits word for word. This nigga Amir, you stupid. You're drunk ass. But that's what music is. And when you limit it to a top 5 music, hell no, I can't sing for y'all. Nope, I do not sing. Hell, I play drums, nigga. No singing for me. I can't sing, I can't rap. Can't sing, can't rap. Never would have made it if I decided to become a singer. If I ever said, I think I'm going to be a singer, you know what would happen to my life? I never would have made it. Hell nah. But see my thoughts on Calabasas. What about Calabasas? You said mom listen to KJLH every Sunday. Oh yeah, the gospel, Andre Russell and all that. Yeah. Yeah, you remember those gospel songs from church? Oh yeah, like the dew in the morning, gently rest upon my heart. I didn't remember that song. I've been playing the drums. Then the crescendos. Rain Jesus. What's Calabasas like? I don't kick it Calabasas. I just drive through Calabasas. I can't tell you what Calabasas is like. If I'm going through Calabasas, it's because I'm driving through wine country up the 101, or sometimes back in the day, I might be taking a scenic route to Malibu to the beach, and you take the 101 and take that across. I can't tell you about Calabasas other than driving through that motherfucker. But that's the last stupid question I'm gonna answer. I need some better questions than that. Rest Jesus. Man, I hated gospel. I just started. That's why I'm doing my documentary on gospel, because one day I looked up, like up until maybe. See, honestly, I gotta thank Pete Rock, Busta Rhymes, and all of these. I gotta thank them, Fat Joe, because them saying all that shit about Black American culture and hip hop is for everybody and all that shit. I swear to God, I'm pretty sure people, those of you who've been listening to me for a long time, you've heard me say this. But the shit that I talk about music, I thought everybody knew this. I thought everybody knew this shit. I thought this was all settled science. I thought everybody knew that Barry White created disco. I thought everybody knew that hip hop is rooted in blues and R&B. I thought this was just normal. I thought anybody who didn't know that shit was a retard. I had no clue this wasn't. Then I realized, I was like, okay, I'm older. You do have people who are younger. So I said, okay, maybe the kids don't know, but people my age definitely know. I didn't know that this shit wasn't common knowledge. Because to me, I just always grew up listening to music, and when I listen to somebody, I kind of just I read their biographies. I used to love watching that show, Unsung. I love watching movies on artists. Reading liner notes and albums. So I just been cataloging this shit since I was 5. I go through my dad's albums and read the fucking albums, and me and my dad would watch document interviews together. Anytime, like my dad had a whole bunch of Motown VHS tapes. Anytime they had like a Motown documentary or something like that, my dad would record it. And so I would sit back and watch like Motown documentaries with my dad when I was like 6 or 7 years old. It was only 2 times me and my dad hung out when I was small. My dad was always with his friends and shit. And he would be home every night, but during the day he'd be down the street at Uncle Doug's house, whatever. Me and my dad got close watching the Lakers and like music interviews. And he would always record tapes. Like, remember the tapes? It'd be like, oh, there's a special tonight on Little Richard. My dad would record it. And me and my dad would watch the Little Richard special, a couple days later. I thought the shit was normal. It was when I saw people believe Fat Joe when he said hip hop was 50-50. When I saw people believe Busta Rhymes say that Black Americans have no culture and we got toasting from Jamaican culture. It was when I saw people believe Pete Rock say hip hop is Jamaican. That's what made me start taking this shit serious. I didn't take this shit serious before that. This is just what I do casually. Like, I'm in my garage. I'm not even in my library and look at the books that I have on music. I'm not even in my library. This is what I have hanging around the house. Tom Basie. I bought that Miles Davis picture when I was 18. I bought that when I was 18. I bought that one earlier this year. But I bought that shit when I was 18. Yeah, Rob, I got virtual DJ. I just been too lazy to figure it out. Appreciate that, though. Like, for real. Like, I thought so that's what's like, I gotta thank them for that shit because it just made me be like, okay, this isn't as common knowledge as I thought it was. It wasn't as common, so it made me invest my time in, okay, let me start talking about it more. And it's like, I appreciate where it's taking me, Like now it's a couple jazz spots around LA that just let me come in. I'm cool with the managers. They just put me on the list and I get to see some of the best music. now and not even have to pay for it because people appreciate what I do. I was in Blue Note the other night and I never met Chris Dave. And the dude knew who I was. I was like, what? I never met him. I was just talking about him because I just wanted to ask him a question. He was like, man, because I went and got a picture with him and Chris, they don't like taking pictures. I was like, oh shit, I didn't know. But I was asking him a question about the Attack Stack symbol, who was the first drummer, because Chris Dave was the first drummer I've seen play with that. And I just wanted to ask him, I said, was that your creation? Who was it? And he told me. I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, all this shit started with these people coming over here talking shit about our culture. Yeah, Rob Trimmer, I'm gonna do mine. I'm gonna do it for Stems. Yeah, nah, he didn't do me like MJ did Chameleonaire. That story I never get tired of telling that story. But what else is going on though? Yeah, but let's go back to that top 5 stuff, man. Like, we gotta really, really. They don't like talking about our geniuses, and as long as we're stuck in a top 5 conversation, the genius that we have is never going to get spoken on, because you don't have time. Because nobody's listening in the top 5 music conversation. Everybody just wants to prove their point. Nobody's listening. So as long as we allow top 5 to dominate the music conversation, we're going to have geniuses that continue to get borrowed from through perpetuity, but they go unsung. Norman Whitfield, Paul Reiser, Hal Davis, and so many more. Barrett Strong. People get so caught up in record sales and who sold the most. Like, I'll never have a conversation over who was better, Stevie Wonder or Smokey Robinson. That's one that's kind of been out there. Stevie Wonder versus Smokey Robinson in the verses. I've been hearing that a lot. It's like, that'll be cool, but those two ain't. Stevie Wonder and Smokey Robinson are completely different. Like, artistry wise, Smokey and Stevie are completely different. They're not. The only thing they share in common is they black and they grew up in Detroit and they work for Motown. Outside of that, there's almost no bond those two share. They are such geniuses in their lanes. Like, Smokey Robinson is a poet like no other. Like, you can't, there are not enough words in English to this. English doesn't have the proper words to describe Smokey Robinson's poetry. Like, if you listen to George Clinton talked so much about how he has everything. Anybody post Smokey talks about they integrate Smokey in their writing, including Stevie. Stevie integrates Smokey in his writing. George Clinton said all that stuff the spiritual stuff he was talking, he would always intertwine some Smokey in that. Like, Smokey Robinson got a song called that came out in the '80s. This is long after his prime. He had a song that came out in the '80s called "Be Kind to the Growing Mind." That's a song he did with the Temptations when the Temptations got back together. And the song says, "Watch what you say. You got to speak with a little more discipline. Our little brothers and sisters are listening. You're a who's who. They want to be like you. So set a positive example. And just remember that you can say you grown, but they gonna repeat you anyway." And he has a Temptation singing "Be Kind." It's a song about being like, just think about that. Just the consciousness to write a song about how you act around the children. I knew that song so well because my dad used to always play it when I was a kid. And but I was just thinking, like, the thoughtfulness to write a song like that. Smokey Robinson got a song called Two Lovers by Mary Wells. I always get Mary Wells and Martha and the Vandellas mixed up because I'm dyslexic. So excuse me, chat, if I get Mary Wells or Martha and the Vandellas mixed up. But there's a song called Two Lovers. Two lovers and I ain't ashamed. Two lovers and I love them both the same. And let me tell you about my first lover. He's mean, he's angry, and then the second lover treats her kind. But the song basically comes down to her love is one man with two personalities. Smokey Robinson wrote that. A song about two lovers, and those lovers are one person. And if you're in a relationship, you know, whoever you with everybody got multiple personalities. And I'm a Gemini, so I know my wife. I probably got 17 personalities. But that's the kind of a writer Smokey Robinson is. When you're talking about, I got sunshine on a cloudy day. When it's cold outside, I got the month of May. I guess you can say what makes me feel that way, the rhyme and the poetry in that, my girl. Oh yeah, the agony and ecstasy. Come on now. What's it all about, this crazy love? How did our two worlds entwine? Just right there. How did we get it? How did our two worlds? Love like ours can never be free. We got to face the agony for the ecstasy. Come on now, nigga. A song about cheating, being with a broad you know you don't need to be with, but it's so good. We gotta face some agony for the ecstasy? Bruh. Yeah, you beat me to the punch. Smokey got a song. Smokey got music. I'm gonna smoke some of my gumbo. You ever get like to the bottom? I'm gonna smoke some of this gumbo right here. There we go. But Smokey Robinson, and y'all know one of my favorite Smokey Robinson songs, a song called Fork in the Road. Beware. Seems like love should be easier, but it's so hard to bear. Come on now. And then when you're dealing with Stevie Wonder, he not only has the writing, he, Stevie Wonder's writing is more socially aware than Smokey wrote mostly about love. He wrote every situation you can. Smokey covered every possible situation you can cover when it comes to love. Stevie was more socially aware, and Stevie was a master producer and musician. Stevie and Smokey are night and day. But we can't have these conversations when we're stuck in who's your top five. I think maybe tomorrow we might have chat room. I think that's gonna be tomorrow's topic. Why top five conversations is stupid. I might expound upon that. Why top five conversations is stupid. I don't know. The Secret Life of Plants was amazing. They tried to make it seem like Stevie flopped. No. The industry was changing at that point. They got tired of niggas putting messages in their shit. The Secret Life of Plants didn't get pushed properly. Damn, it's 1 in the morning. The hell y'all doing up on the East Coast? Y'all up at the devil's hours. I got y'all up. Well, it's better y'all listening to me than out there sinning. This is the sinning hour. It's better y'all listen to me than out there sinning. He said using the cards. That's what I might do tomorrow. I might do a card show tomorrow. Yeah, if I go live tomorrow, look out for a card show. I've been doing those exclusively on Patreon. But I'm gonna do one on here. This nigga Amir said, yeah, David Ruffin goggles. Nigga. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I might do. I think we're gonna do a card because it's a lot to read in the cards. We coming up on the last quarter. We on the last 7-week cycle of the year. I think I gotta read these last 7 weeks of the year. We're gonna read these political parties and see what's going on with that. But yeah, it's a clear night. I'm about to put on my headphones and listen to music. I didn't even think I was gonna be talking this long to y'all. I did not think I'd be talking this long to y'all. Well, I'll answer a few more questions though. I'll answer a few more questions. I gotta listen to my music now. Hey, we talked a little bit about the Michael Jackson stuff. I didn't really. I gotta get more. I saw Black Alpha had the topic, but I didn't really get up on that whole situation. What made me get into the cards? My spirit told me to do it one day. That's the long and short answer. But the short answer, the long answer is I spent years working with families and counseling and doing all kind of shit. And I like doing that, but I can no longer handle the mental baggage that comes along with. Yeah, go ahead, post whatever you want. Um, I can no longer handle the mental baggage of taking in everybody's story to help them. And so I said, fuck this shit. I ain't doing that no more. But the cards allowed me to still do my work that I did when I was counseling without taking in people's story. I don't like taking in people's story like that because I have way too much trauma from the years that I did take in people's story. Cards just pull up your birthday. I don't need to know your story. I could just give you the same help without having to get burdened by your story. No disrespect to people's story, but I've been the person that dozens of children have told that, hey, my uncle raped me and my mom knows. And I'm the person that had to have that fucking conversation. So I don't want to go back to that world. I did that world for like 15 years and I don't want to go back. Hell yeah, I'm still up on intellectual power. He said, help New Yorkers get a constitution signed reparations bill. Hey, yeah, Brooke, whenever you want to post stuff like that in the chat, go right ahead and make sure you post it in the comments afterwards, okay? Mm. But that's the major reason why I do the cards right there. I get to continue my work working with families and working with people without having to go into the details of their story. Yeah, like working with people and hearing people's story. After a while, you can't take it no more. But with the cards, I still can help people. What's my opinion on the Chicago kids attack? I haven't gotten into that story. I just think that's unfortunate. Look, I'm glad you asked that question. We as a people are not in a good place right now. We're at war, and there are a lot of people on the lower belly of our society who do horrible things, all right? And that's a consequence of poverty. Poverty, people in poverty situations in a world of abundance do wacky shit. But at the end of the day, that whole situation with the kids in Chicago is the exception of the exception. Appreciate that, Brooke. That's right, King Red. There are hundreds of thousands of kids in Chicago who are doing things the right way. When you see stuff like that happen, stuff like that is an aberration and it's unfortunate. But it's something that I don't believe in making a whole story out of. Like a lot of black folks, a lot of black content creators got their rocks off looking at that situation and use it and say, okay, this is what's wrong with black women. This is what's wrong with black kids. And if you ask me, like, okay, so is that what's wrong with your mama? Is this your kids? Is this your nephews and nieces? Is this your aunties? Because they black women. You don't let this deviation set the rule for your people. I think that it was a I don't I work with kids way too much to jump into their stories and judge them harshly. Like kids do kid shit and sometimes very vulgar and foul shit. Like it happens. You're right. The worst war is the war you don't know you're in. And Brooks still in the reparations talk. Mm. And I haven't been talking about the Reggie Carroll situation because I know the shooter. I don't know the shooter, but the shooter is one of my very, very close friends, her people. And when Cat Williams filmed that special, that Netflix special last year, I was there because of the security guard. He's the one that got me in and got me backstage. That's when I met him. And me and Reggie Carroll go back to 2009, 2010. I've been knowing Reggie Carroll since 2010. I miss that dude, man. Like, I was on Facebook probably about 2 weeks before Reggie Carroll died. Like, man, I ain't seen my nigga in a minute. Like ever since he had moved back to Baltimore and then he got on the road with Cat. But Reggie would pop back into LA 2 or 3 times a year, and I hadn't seen Reggie pop back into LA in a few years. I'm like, man, what's on Reggie? And then a couple weeks later, he dead. And then I find out a few days later, the person that killed him, somebody else I know. Yeah. So I've been staying out of that. Like the video that you saw, the video that you saw, I got that video before TMZ got it. Did I put it up? No. Y'all didn't even know I had that video, did y'all? I never did my first time saying it. The video of him and Reggie going at it, and I know more about that video than I'm going to say on the internet because I'm gonna let the police handle that. But I know way more about that video than what anyone on the internet knows. But it's not my job to tell. Yeah, Brooke, you put in that work with the reparations, but mm-hmm. Yeah, Cat does deserve the. I don't know, like the whole situation with the Reggie Carroll thing is weird. It's just weird. That's why I haven't put my foot down on any side. All I know is Reggie's gone, and I got major love for Reggie. Reggie always was, man, because people are right. You hear a lot of people talk about how like Reggie Carroll was known. He had a reputation for putting hands on motherfuckers. Me and Reggie didn't have that relationship. He wouldn't even come. He never even came at me that way. We just always just love, man. I remember right when Reggie started to like really get his Instagram profile, like, cause y'all saw his IG had like 200,000 on it, something like that, 100 some odd thousand. I remember when Reggie Carroll's IG had like he had like 900 followers. He hit me up. Come on, D. I'm trying to really get on this internet thing, man. We gotta talk. We gotta chop it up, man. Let's go have lunch. What if I told you that video wasn't the moment before all that stuff happened? Would you look at it different? That's all I'm gonna say to that. I love Reggie Carroll. But also, the brother that shot him, I don't know him like that, but I know his people. I got nothing but love for them, man. Like deep. I'm gonna let the story come out. I'm not breaking news on this channel. I'm out of that. I'm out of that story. Out of that story. Like I could be beating all these niggas on the internet to that whole story, but everything ain't about numbers for me. I got respect for everybody involved, so I'm staying out of it all the way. Yeah, it's like that old street. Ooh, serious. I'm sorry, y'all. It's been raining in LA for like a week straight, and this is my first time seeing the stars in about a week. So yeah, I'm about to get the fuck up off here and listen to some music and connect with these motherfucking stars in the sky. Because what good is talking to y'all about the cars and what Venus does versus what Pluto does if I can't step outside and look at it? Like Jupiter's right there. Let me see if I can see. Y'all see right there? That's Jupiter right there. That's Jupiter and that's Sirius. Let's get serious. Jupiter and Sirius out right there. And then, so yeah, I gotta watch this show in the sky. Yeah, I'm rained out. It's finally got some clear weather in this motherfucker. I'm about to enjoy these stars and listen to some Parliament. Now Venus, you only see Venus in the morning or at night at night. Venus is right there with the sun. It's too close to the sun to see this late at night. You're only gonna see Venus starting at about like 4 in the morning. 4 or 5 in the morning you'll see Venus above the horizon. But you're not gonna see Venus at 1 in the morning. Well, if you're on the East Coast, you might see Venus right now. If you're on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast. But yeah, y'all have a good one. I'm out.